Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a 2-point perspective drawing. I know that in 6th grade you had done 1-point perspective, so this is a little bit different. We're doing 2-point perspective. So instead of one vanishing point, you're going to have 2 vanishing points. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure you're familiar with whatever kind of ruler you're using. The ruler I'm using, you need to make sure you know where the inch marks are. My inch marks are, the numbers are right below the lines. With some rulers, the longest line to the right of the number is the inch line until you get into double digits. Then it's the one in between the two numbers. Again, mine just happens to be, there's the mark for the 1 inch, 2 inch. Also be aware of your half-inch marks and your quarter-inch marks. Also know where your ruler is starting. I have a little bit of a space here, so technically my ruler begins right here at the 0. Some rulers begin at the very end. Again, you have to be aware of your ruler. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go at a relatively normal pace. Keep in mind you have the opportunity to pause, stop, rewind, rewatch any parts of this video that you may have had questions about, or you wanted to kind of go back and look at to make sure you're doing things correctly. So you have all those options to make sure you're following the instructions. Now, so what I'm going to do is top left-hand corner of my paper right here. I'm going to line my ruler up at the 0, and I'm going to measure 1 inch down. I'm going to make a dot right there on the very edge of the paper. I'm going to slide the ruler over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Line it up with 0. Make my other dot right here. Again, it's touching the edge of the paper. So I measured in 1 inch down on the right side. I measured 1 inch down on the left side. Typically, when you're drawing, you want to press hard enough so that you can see what you're doing, but light enough to erase any mistakes. And even when we don't make mistakes, we still do some erasing. So keep that in mind as well. I'm typically, what I'm going to do with this video anyway, is typically I'm going to draw darker than I normally would, just so you can see it a little bit more clearly on the video, but I will still erase my lines. So I have the dot there, the dot there. Those 2 dots are called vanishing points. Remember, in 6th grade, you only had 1. Now we're doing 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to connect those 2 vanishing points. That is called your horizon line. That is what you would normally see at eye level. Towards the bottom of the page. It does not have to be exactly in the middle, but you're going to find somewhere close to the middle and then move over slightly to the left. So if this is roughly the middle, I'm going to jump over. Maybe I'll make like a little X. That's probably where I'll start. I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to measure 1 inch high. And then from there, I'm going to draw a line 2 inches tall. Okay, so here's the bottom of the page, slightly left of center. I jump up about 1 inch. I draw a vertical line 2 inches tall. Vertical always means straight up and down in relationship to the paper. If you're having trouble drawing vertical lines, what you got to do is make sure you line up the bottom of your ruler with the bottom of the page, or the top of your ruler with the top of the page. And then it's a little bit easier to do. Now, what I'm going to do at the top of this vertical line right here, I'm going to draw a line aiming to the left vanishing point. I'm going to draw a line aiming to the right vanishing point, so that these 3 lines make a big letter Y. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom of that vertical line. I'm going to draw a line aimed to that vanishing point, and then I'm going to draw a line aimed to the other one, so that the bottom 2 make a big letter V. Now, one thing to keep in mind, again, I want to reiterate, when you're drawing this, you want to draw more lightly than what I'm doing. You're going to be doing a lot of erasing. Even when you're doing things correctly, you're going to erase. these lines that are connecting or guiding us to the vanishing points are called guidelines. Anytime you hear me say the word guideline, you got to make sure that your ruler is aiming towards one of the vanishing points. You just got to make sure it's the correct one. Now, another reason, as I'm noticing here, that I want you to draw more lightly than I am is you're going to start to see like some smudge marks on your paper if you don't. And you don't want to muddy up your paper. Just makes it look a little sloppy. Now, top of this vertical line right there in the middle of the Y, I'm looking at the top right guideline. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3 inches to the right. From there, here's my mark. I'm going to draw a vertical line straight down until I hit the bottom guideline. Again, it's a vertical line. These two lines should be parallel to each other. Parallel lines are two lines that never touch, cross, or intersect. The top left guideline, I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to do 2 inches. 1, 2. And again, on the left side, I will draw a vertical line straight up and down. Now, top right corner, right here, I'm going to draw a guideline aiming to the left vanishing point. Top left guideline, top left corner, I'm going to draw a guideline aiming to the right, but I'm going to stop as soon as I hit the line I just got done drawing. My ruler is still touching the vanishing point, even though I'm not drawing the guideline all the way to it. If you hear me say guideline, your ruler must touch one of the vanishing points. It doesn't matter if you're drawing the guideline all the way to the vanishing point or if the guideline is only 1/4 inch long. If your ruler's not touching one of the vanishing points, I don't know what you're doing. So right now you have this box right here, this 3D box. What I want you to do is you're going to erase this line. So I erased these two guidelines on this side. I'm going to keep these top two, but I'm going to erase this bottom one. So that's what your paper should look like. Again, you probably can still see my lines a little bit since I was pressing so hard. Now, you have this box with these two guidelines. What I'm going to do next, bottom right-hand corner, right here, I'm going to line my ruler up with the left vanishing point. I'm not going to start here. I'm going to jump up to this line right here and draw a guideline, stopping as soon as I hit this one right here. I'm going to jump over to the bottom left-hand corner. I'm not starting at the corner. Again, I am jumping up to this line right here, and I'm drawing a guideline, stopping as soon as I hit the line I just got done drawing. Now what I'll do, I have a top corner here, top corner here. I will connect those two and erase this line. Right there, you have an open box. Now, from this corner, I don't really have a measurement for you, so you're going to kind of eyeball it. I want to make a lid that will fit over this box. So if I drew a line here, that obviously would be too short, because if I closed it, it would go to there. If I had a line way up here and closed it, that lid would come over here. So you want to kind of eyeball it. For me, it looks like, I'd say right about there, it looks like a good distance. I'm going to draw a guideline from here to this guideline, keeping in mind that your ruler is still touching the vanishing point, even though I'm not drawing all the way. And I will erase those lines right there. Now you have your open box with a lid on it. In the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to turn this into a treasure chest. And we're going to talk about details and things like that that help make the drawing have a sense of unity. It brings it all together. Because right now we have a box with a lid. Well done, good, but we want to make it a little bit more exciting. So what we'll do is next video, we'll make it into a treasure chest, and then you can either follow along as best you can with that video, or if you feel like you know what you want to do, you can just turn it into your own drawing. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, like I said, in the next video. Thank you.